Fuck yeah, boys. Welcome back to the podcast. Signing in with Rick this time. I get to do the welcome. We're here with Rude Boy Glass. Rude Boy Glass, you want to start off by just introducing yourself a little?
Hey, what's up? Yeah. Hey, what's up, everybody? My name's Rudy. Go by Rudeboyglass. I've been blowing glass for, oh man, it's getting close to like 14 years now.
It's crazy, bro. What
Epic,
made
man.
you want to blow glass?
Well, believe it or not, I was doing like a regular old corporate job. I worked in downtown Austin, and I was working for like a website company. And sorry, I'm a little sick, so my throat's a little messed up. But I was working for a website company, and I just hated it. And so I quit my job, and I wanted to take a little break, and so I signed up for a glass blowing class just for fun. And it happened to be at a place called Flameworks, and the teacher was a glass blower named J Mass Glass. And yeah, I just kind of got hooked from there. So it was an
Fuck.
accident.
Here, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab a nicotine stick. I seem to have lost it. I didn't think I would have lost it because I always have it on me, of course. And then once I get back, I'm gonna take a dab. Rude Boy Glass, do you smoke while you blow glass or what?
Yeah. I take dabs. I got some good live rosin that my friend grew and processed, so I know where it's
Fuck yeah.
coming from.
What's your take on trading? I
Trading
heard some
like
like corporations, like the glass blowers and the like the weed dispensaries. You guys will like trade, sometimes.
yeah, I mean it happens. I've only traded small stuff, so like I've had a
No,
private
yeah, I've
collector.
never heard anything large. I've never heard any large amounts.
Yeah, I've had like a private collector say like, "Hey, you want to trade, like half cash, half dabs on
Yep.
like a hash maker, for like a pendant or a dabber or something like that." Yeah.
I just heard something very similar to that, like from someone else. It's so weird. Like actually, I heard that from like it, just yesterday. So, but yeah, I'll hear all up. I'll be right back. I'm really
Yeah, no
craving my
worries.
nicotine.
The Cheeto
I
design
mean,
guy.
there's a couple of pieces like when I think of so I did a show a while back. I think this one was in California, and I
Oh,
made a
really?
Chester. No. Actually, I think this was Florida. But I made either way. I made a Chester piece, and it was like a half Chester, half octopus. He had tentacles all coming out. He was leaning forward, and it kind of had movement. This
Yeah.
was years ago, but it looked like he was like sliding forward. I think that piece actually ended up in Italy.
Oh, damn,
But that,
fancy.
yeah, there's a guy in Italy. He's got a few of my pieces, some collabs like with me and Hoops, and then I think he has that piece and another one. And they're like, I need three pieces. I would have been like, no, man,
For
no.
real, dude. For real. Like, dude, you're already offering them a matching pendant. He was full setup, but just one. Like one full setup, which is really that's generous. That's like
Yeah.
for some glass blowers, depending on who's making it, maybe a $6,000 setup. You know
It's
what I
also
mean?
just
Like,
days of work, like days of work. I mean, maybe for certain glass. I know some people are fast as shit, man. Just the
yeah,
design and the way
glass
they
hole.
put
He said he spends like 20 hours on a piece,
Yeah, it takes me. I'm probably the
but
slowest
20
glass
20
blower in the
hours
whole
is
world.
20 hours is two grand he charges.
It takes me forever. Well, that's retail. A lot of the stuff we sell is going to be wholesale, or at least I don't know, probably like 70-30, something like that. Like
But
30% wholesale.
can you add labor time into the prices? For instance, with custom pieces
That's
like
what
you
they
just said.
do. That they add labor time.
Okay.
It depends on who you're talking to. I have my own model, my own philosophy behind that. I've taught a lot of glass blowers that have come up, through my studio or just people I've come up with in the past. I don't think you should value a piece based on what you put into it, the time and the material. And there's two reasons. One, if you come up with an amazing product and it's not very much time and it's not a lot of material, but it's a beautiful, innovative product that is just something that nobody else has, you should be able to charge what that's worth. You shouldn't go, man, people want to pay 300 or 250 for these, but they're only worth $60 because I can make them in 5 minutes. Like,
Hmm.
that's not how you should price things. Same thing with the other end, which is where most glass blowers find themselves. You'll put 5 days and $800 in material into this monstrosity that you had cooked up in your mind that did not come out the way you wanted it. And you're like, look, man, with all the time I put into this, I need 4 grand, 5 grand. When you know it's not worth more than 1,200, it's ugly. You know what I mean? So like, you got to bite the bullet. Realize, hey, this is a design I probably shouldn't make. It's not worth it. No one's going to buy it for that much. It's going to take a loss, sell it at the price that it's actually worth, and move on. So I feel like you got to sell a product for what the market says it's worth, not what. Well, you only want to pay 1,200, but I need at least 5 grand because
No, I
that's
get you, bro. And that's
right?
kind of like I was talking to a gallery owner about this. He said that's like why like gallery owners can't sell pieces for mad cheap because they do get them for way cheaper, and they just can't talk about it because if they did, like people would want it, you know. And if they did sell it for cheaper, that would devalue the pieces, then which devalues the artist, which then devalues the industry, and that just fucks over everybody.
Exactly.
Like, bro, because there's so many things that can go into it, you know, when truly considering the worth of a piece, it's like art, you know, and depending on who the artist is, it's gonna cost more, you know. If you want Leonardo da Vinci, bro, it's gonna cost more, you know what I mean? It's a professional,
Yep.
that's a professional history made art piece right there. You know what I mean? You can't just get that for every, you know, fucking $300 that everyone else has, you know. That's you need something special to trade.
Yep.
And what you said makes a lot of sense. See, you made me change my perspective on it because to me, the the cost of love and labor, it's a very fickle situation because you get people angry, obviously, if you put all that work and love into it, into a piece, and it's something that you really love, and you think it should be more, but it just basically it isn't worth the price that you really want. It's not really going to matter. You have to have your prices just with the market, like you said.
Yeah, and I always tell glassblowers that like, especially when they're coming up, like, look, man, if you had this product that you could just like recycler design that was something that was just special to you, but nobody really, I've done this too. You have no idea how many times I've made something and been like, I am so proud of this, and I post it and people are like, boo, where's the orange, with black dots? Why is it not a Chester? I don't see a Cheeto. And I'm like, well, shit, guys, like this is actually really, this is a nice piece. And they're like, boo. So what you got to do is you got to think about the market, and then you got to change the design to kind of fit that. So you're like, okay, well, I can change it up and maybe, do it this way, and then, do something that way. And then now I have a product that it's a little less time consuming for me. It's a little less material, and it also meets the needs that the market. Because you know what I used to do when I went into shops when I was like literally 2 weeks, 3 weeks on the torch and I couldn't do anything right. I went into shops and I was like, yo, I suck. However, if you just tell me where there's a hole in your shelf, like we're looking for $30 spoons, or we'd really like to get, back then it was like glass nails when dabs were brand new. They're like, we'd like, glass nails, no one will make them, and we want them at this price. And I would say, look, I'll fill that hole in your shelf. If you just order $1,000 worth of that stuff from me, I will go to my shop, I will learn how to make it, and I will come back and I will bring you $1,000 worth of spoons. And that's how I made sales back in the day.
I mean, like doing the bones and all that, that's fish blown glass, you know? Really fucking amazing. I love it. But,
Fish blown?
yeah, fish blown glass or something like that. It's
Pretty
something
sure Karsten did it before him, though.
Oh, okay, well, right. But what I'm getting at, oh, okay. I thought that was like locked down as like just his style. Okay. Because
No,
I was
no, no.
gonna
I mean,
say, man,
there's a
like,
lot of people that do bones. I don't think anybody can lock down. What I'm saying is, I don't. This is how it is with art, going back to like, you know, Michelangelo. Like when people gatekeep and people take styles and everything's been done and there's nothing new under the sun. Like this is something that's been said since before we were born, especially with art. But that's not really true. You know what I mean? You
no,
can put your
100%.
you can like Elbow can make a dyno, and then I could make a dyno. And there's two things that could happen. I could make a dyno that is just a rip off of his, where I just copy his
Yeah,
design.
but you'd get hated on. You'd get
No, no,
tanked out
no,
of
no.
the
I'm making an
community.
example. I'm not saying I would do that. Or
No,
I
I
could
know.
make a
No,
dyno,
I know. But I'm
or
just
I
saying,
could,
like,
yeah, or I could make a dyno that is completely different. That's my own style. And if you make like J Smart has some like there's all kinds of people out there that do if you do your own thing and you put your own spin on a design that's been done 100 times, Bones, Pink Panther, fucking dinosaurs, you can still make it your own. I believe that any artist can put their spin on any design that's been done a million times. You can still make it your own.
100%. I fucking love that. I love that take on it. You know, I've told people for a while now, especially like a lot of these like bass styles, like Chaka, the ice stuff, like Muller with the leather tech. I feel like those are definitely gonna like over 20 years, 30 years, we're gonna start to see adaptations, and all sorts of things come along.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
It'll just take time. It'll take time because
like for
people.
you can use that as an example. So I don't know if you've seen, but I've done some surreal. I originally wanted to do surrealism in glass, but because I came up in the same studio as Salt, I couldn't really do like teeth and eyes and the kind of
Ah,
stuff that I used to
saw
draw. Yeah, because that's where I started in Austin with all those guys, and so like if I was to try to go down that path, then it would just it kind of and that goes back to what I told you before, being influenced by people around you. So I just never touched it. But
Salt's
I've
really good.
recently, he's probably one of the best glass artists to ever do it. And so when I recently did some surrealism, I did like a breaking out series where it's like breaking out of your shell, and so it's like little surrealist pendants that are like teeth and spikes and things ripping out from inside, and so it's got like torn glass where it's kind of torn open, exposing the inside like gums and teeth. And I think it's pretty damn cool. But again, it's not something people are used to me seeing, so I have to, slowly introduce it and make, I couldn't like start off with some giant rig made out of that, or people just the value wouldn't be there. But I'll make some smaller pendants and introduce it, and over time make more and more stuff like that.
So, do you work with quartz at all?
No,
No, never have.
I've been around it, but I've never personally like got because quartz takes the. I mean, you can do it with our setup. It's a pain in the ass. It
I
takes a
heard you have to
different
have a
kind of.
fan. You have to have a ventilator pulling the air away, and then have a mask on to.
Well, that's just glass blowing. You have to
Oh,
have.
I heard that was just with like quartz, because quartz is really toxic.
So is glass. Like I have a giant industrial fan and hood in my studio. So does every glass blower. Or you'll
Yeah, but
literally
they don't.
die.
They don't use masks.
No, you don't need a mask. You don't need a mask. But also, the people that blew quartz when I saw them never wore masks either.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
completely different take. Last all he said that like everybody uses mask.
I'm sure there's a bunch of people that do. When I was in Joel's studio, I saw them doing some. I saw people on lathes. I didn't see anybody wearing a mask. And then when they were doing that over in the studio next to ours back in Austin at Grav Labs, they didn't wear a mask either. Just a lot of ventilation is really what you need. No, for quartz, you need a different kind of torch. You need a different kind of gas. Propane and oxygen isn't hot enough to melt it.
Ah, that
Unless
makes
you
sense.
rage it for like if you sit there, and I've done this, where you just melt it in the flame for like 5 minutes straight, then it gets soft enough to start pushing and pulling. But it's nothing like boro in a regular torch.
Mm-hmm. So, what is your future goals with your style then? Do you want to stay with the Chester style, or did you even expect to end up with a Chester style? Where did you work? Like, where did you expect yourself to be in 16 years? And when
Yeah,
you
no, I
first started?
didn't. I started off making Sherlocks and Dicro, spoons and things like that. And then I moved on to doing honeycombs and learning to make my own color. And then eventually I became like the guy that was making all the dab stuff because dabs just weren't a thing when I started. None of the glass blowers I worked with dabbed. I was the only one. And so I was the first one to like make products for dabbing. And I was just making them for myself so I could experiment. So eventually I made recyclers that you could dab off of. And I was like the recycler guy for a little while. And then after that I was like the line work guy for a little while. You kind of go through your phases as you learn technique. But I started sculpting when I did the computer series. I made mini tubes that had, because I build computers as well, and do some programming. So there was processors, there was RAM, there was leads, there was transistors, like everything that makes up a motherboard was sculpted onto the tube, which was green, made with slime. So that's how I got into sculpting. Then eventually I did M&M characters, and then the next progression was the Speedo. So I got the Chester Cheeto character, and then I've just been kind of doing that for a while. I've done some various different things. I've made some recyclers again, and I'm about to bring back some of my old disc rigs and some other stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've been on the Chester thing for a long time, and I eventually will move away from it.
So I have a question, bro. So, what makes a recycler for dabs different than a recycler for weed?
So back then, there was nothing made for taking dabs. There was no such thing as bangers.
Didn't that come from China?
Think
I heard
so.
like the original style, like the with the little like dab collector part, that and all that came from China apparently.
It could have been. There was like these titanium sling arms. Do you remember those?
I just know that I heard that it came from like meth. They used to smoke meth out of them,
That's
and then
scary.
eventually it turned into dabs.
So basically, there used to be these things called sling arms, and you would have to wire wrap a hood, custom made little glass,
Oh,
hood, and you'd wire wrap a titanium plate, and we'd heat up the plate, we'd swing it underneath the hood, and we'd hit the
fucking
dab on there
science.
blazing hot. It was terrible. It was fucking
That sounds
terrible.
like some science though. Holy shit.
Yeah, and then so we had to make those, and then glass nails. So before that, recyclers would have a place to put like, a bowl, or mini tubes would have a place to put a bowl or an ash catcher. There was nothing that existed where. So we started making these little glass nails, where we would put three little bumps on like a piece of 8 mil, pull it sharp, and then flatten the top with a divot, and you'd put that fitting in a male fitting. So instead of a female fitting, you'd put a male fitting, and there would be a dome. And so we were all like inventing and coming up with that stuff just for us to smoke back in the day. And so that's the kind of stuff I was fucking around with. Making little
That
glass
sounds
nails,
raw,
take
bro.
jabs out of little domes.
Fuck yeah, bro. What's it called? We have Grail come on here. He experiments with just turning like alcohol bottles into bongs as of right now, but he's just getting into glass blowing. He still uses a propane tank, just like a like a little handheld one.
Oh,
But
really?
it's raw, it's cool. He's still like he's passionate. He's getting into it, bro, and that's why I support him, bro. He's dude, it's fucking awesome. That's what you need. You need that push because after all, bro, a lot of people, they start off, and a lot of like I don't know this if this is how you started, but I heard this is what a lot of old glass blowers pride themselves on. You just take a piece of glass, hold it in the fire, and you just see what happens, and that's how everyone learned, And I respect that because that's how he learned. He watched a couple fucking YouTube videos and just took some glass and put it in front of the propane torch to see what happened, bro. I respect that. I respect that. It takes some balls.
Yep, I remember doing that on my first week or two on the torch. And I came home and used my little butane torch to pull down a little dabber for myself.
Oh, nice. You made a dabber?
Yeah, yeah, I just took a piece of clear and heated it up in front of the flame. It ruined the torch actually because I had to let it go for so long that it never worked right
Oh.
again after that. So I don't recommend it. But then, yeah, I melted it enough to grab it with tweezers, pull it down, and then make like a little scoop because I didn't have a dabber.
Speaking of which, what kind of blood torch do you recommend for taking dabs? Or would you say an e-coil is better?
I don't know, man. I'm kind of old school and lazy. I have one of those like big shot torches.
That's what I have. I have the Big Shot Blazer, bro, and it
Yeah, that's what
fucking
so
like,
I have
dude,
that. I
it's
got a green
amazing.
one.
Yep, same. No, literally same, bro. Hold up. Are we twinsies?
Yep, pretty much. Mine has a sticker on the other side though.
Oh,
So
bro, I
people know
had
it's
one of
mine.
those 3D printed, like, the hose nozzle, bro, how it has the three knobs. It was like that, so it was a little different, and I fucking loved it. It was purple, bro, and with the color scheme, I don't know, man. It reminded me of something from like Watch Dogs.
Let me see yours again. Do you have the little heat shield on it?
Yeah, I do. I do. Speaking of which, someone told me that this one's outdated.
Yeah, yeah. That's I have. It's hard to see in that because it's in like a little square, but it
Here, hold
looks
up.
just like mine. I got like the. Oh yeah, you got the. Yeah, that's different. Mine has the flower of life pattern on it.
Someone told me that if like the solid ones are better now.
But what?
The solid ones, like they're better.
Oh, I don't know. I have no
You
idea. This
don't
is the
know?
only one I've had this one for years. But yeah, I have like a little recycler, one of my old school quad cycler designs I made, 6, 7
Fuck
years
yeah.
ago.
Oh,
And
that's what
then I
I'm
got.
about to have. Quad recycler.
I
What
think they
actually
work. I like the way they work when they have two ups and two downs.
so wait. Quad recycler? I have a tornado recycler. You confused
Mine,
me
I
there.
called mine a quad. That's just what I called it. But essentially, it's got two uptakes that go into a chamber that spin. That go down to two downtakes.
Oh, okay. Okay, nah, yeah, mine don't. It's just a normal tornado recycler, and then it's gonna have, two that lead up to it, right, at like an angle on the sides, right? and then that's gonna be the spray paint cans with the mouth and the teeth and everything, and with the
Nice.
opal on the tongue. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What I told him is I want him to grab his style in the best form possible. I did give a little like couple things on it, like because in my opinion, it kind of like front heavy to an extent, and so I was like, maybe could you put like a marble or like something on the back, to like just like help weigh out the not the actual weight, but like the viewable weight, if you know what I mean.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I know what you're
because
saying.
that's definitely important when making a piece. You don't want it to be all the decorations in the front and then the back side's just a naked, like basic, like back. So I
Yeah,
just wanted
yeah,
something to help weigh out everything on it. But yeah, I'm excited. I gotta get a Cash App. I gotta set up Cash App.
yeah. I
Never
use a
set
lot of
up
Cash
Cash App.
App, Venmo. PayPal kind of sucks. I've been ripped off
Yeah.
through PayPal so many times.
Well, but PayPal also takes a percentage.
Well, no, I mean I've been ripped off like some of the. This has happened to me at least 6 or 7 times. It's happened to a bunch of glass blowers, but this is why I stopped using PayPal as one of my options because people have figured out. Have you ever sent? You probably don't ship.
If you use the friends and family option, you can take it back.
Well, no. Yeah. Well, it's even worse than that. So if
Oh.
this works with glass blowers, this works with Amazon, this works with anybody, and so this is a scam that's happened to me before. So I'll tell you so you guys can look out for it. But essentially, if the post office or FedEx or anybody fails to scan properly, meaning that it just says it was scanned in when you shipped it, and then it never gets scanned in again as like delivered because they messed up on their scan or they just didn't scan it. If it never says delivered, which I've had happen where customers are like, hey, tracking numbers all whack, it's not saying anything, I don't know what happened, and then they hit me up and say, oh, the pendant arrived, thank you, blah blah blah. But for people that are a little bit scammy, they'll realize they can hit up PayPal and say, hey, I never got the product, and PayPal will refund the money, no questions asked, and they keep your pendant or whatever they got. For me, it's always been a pendant that they rip me off for. They keep the pendant, PayPal takes the money, returns it to the customer because you can't
Damn.
provide them a way to show that it was delivered because the post office failed. And when I try to go further and take it up the line, they say, essentially, you got to take that up with the post office. So,
That's fucked, bro.
yeah.
But PayPal can't do that. So for instance, I use PayPal a lot. So if I were to constantly try to do that, PayPal would flag my account and tell me that I can't do that anymore.
Oh, yeah, no, they make multiple accounts. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So they're making that's some bullshit.
Yeah, it's something that's
Yeah,
good.
it's fine.
Good. Yeah, that's bullshit though.
I
That's
don't
not right.
imagine it's something they do on a regular basis. It's just, like something that people realize that they can do if it's specifically that situation. It doesn't happen often, but when you ship thousands of things in a year, you know what I mean? You're bound to have a couple get lost. You're bound to have some get sent to the wrong person. You're bound to have some not get scanned properly. That's why companies have shrinkage built into their budget.
Yeah, that makes sense. That way they can cover their your collateral damages and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, makes sense. And it's smart.
Yeah,
So, what's your take on wholesale then to smoke shops?
yeah, I do it. I've been doing it for a long time.
Oh,
It's about
excuse me, sorry.
okay. It's about 70-30. I do about 70% retail, about 30% wholesale. Um, it changes from time to time. Sometimes it'll be like almost no wholesale at all. But if shops hit me up, I stopped doing orders, so it's a little more difficult for shops to get something because I won't allow like a situation where they're like, we want to send you a bunch of money and then you make the pieces for us. And then they tell me what to make. I just kind of like to make whatever I'm making right now and then post it, and then someone can buy it. If it's a shop and they want to get it wholesale, I'll sell it to them. If it's a
That's what I
customer,
wanted. That's what I wanted Glasshole to do.
to what?
Because I told it's just he don't make much like tornado recyclers. So, I understood that. Like,
You
cause
want it in the
also he
wholesale?
what? No, because I wasn't getting a wholesale. I was just buying one, and I'm getting a custom piece from him, and he kept asking me to like weigh in on it. And like I said, I don't want to over design it, and then like I come up with a shitty design. And then he's just like, yeah, bro, it's a good idea because it's my idea, and like at the end of the day, my opinion
Is
does
my mic
matter.
working? There we go.
Yeah, it's been working, but
No,
at
no,
the
no.
same
I just
time,
got a phone call. So go
um,
ahead. Go ahead.
like I said, I don't want to over design it, and then I come up with the design that looks bad because, like, for example's sake, look at his piece he just posted. That beehive, that's fucking amazing. That's amazing, bro. He posted a beehive recently, and it was
It's yeah. It's best
genuinely.
to give an artist direction. It's not good to try to make it be like Build a Bear, where you're like, I want the left hand like this and the right hand like that, and tilt his head this way and make him do like that's not good. Nobody likes that. But it's definitely good to give direction. Like oh, I want a custom Chester that's wearing like a costume like the Flash or Superman, and then from there you can kind of do what you want to do, but you have a theme to go on.
I just told him I want his style in a tornado recycler, and I want something that shows the function and
Yeah.
something that I can like actually hit with my hair, not getting in the way.
I got a recycler design that I've got drawn that I need to try to make at some point. Add a clear just to because it's been a while, and I'd like to get
Nice.
some more recyclers going.
Yo, let me just say, good stream so far, guys. Good audio quality and everything. The only thing for me is I gotta be careful with my microphone because if I'm like doing some background noise, like open a bag of chips, that's blasting through the mic. So I'm not gonna talk way too much, guys. Okay, just by the way.
Damn.
But cheers. I'm gonna take a
My
rip.
blowtorch don't pick up at all unless I'm talking.
All right, cheers, my friends.
Rude boy, let
Cheers.
me ask you a question. When people
Yep.
order custom pieces from you, when are they very specific on what they want, or do they let you be innovative with the pieces and you can kind of use your own imagination and add things, or are they specifically saying, "Hey, Rude boy, I want this, 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 and that"?
Both. Both. Yeah. Like I said, it's never great when they're over the top with the control. Um, and that's happened before, and I've made the piece and they were happy with it. But it's one of those things. Sometimes people don't realize that what they're asking for is not a good idea. Like function wise, it might not actually work well based on just what they're asking. And so you could do that for them and make it for them, and then they get it and say, "Well, this sucks. This piece barely stands up. It's so front heavy, for example." And it's like, "Well, yeah. I mean, that's what you asked for, though." So I won't like let it go too far. Usually, if they're really controlling, I'll push back on some things. Like I can do this, this, and this, but I can't do that because it'll mess up the integrity of the piece. But
Okay.
the best ones, which is probably about 75% of the time, they just give you a theme and let you kind of go with it.
Yeah, because I was thinking now, if I were to order a piece, I would want to tell the artist what I want, but I would also want him to use his own creativity because I'm not a glassblower. So I
That's
don't
why,
know
bro.
what's gonna work and what's not gonna work. So I would
That's
rather
why,
the
man. Can I tell
glassblower
you something,
tell me
Blackjack?
what's
Though,
going on.
also, when you come up with your own idea, that's your idea. That's not their style. So, also, like, let's say you go to a Rude Boy Glass here, and you tell him, man, I want Mad Hatter, right? He's gonna tell you, well, okay, I can do Mad Hatter, yep, but it's not gonna look exactly how you wanted to, and it's gonna be harder for him. You know what I mean? On top of that, so that's why, like, I don't know. I feel like you need to have just a balance, because if you do want a specific style, find an artist with that style, and if you can't, then just go with what they have and ask them and trust
Do
them
you,
in a
do
piece.
you guys, any of you guys have a tattoo?
I do.
Yeah, I
I
have
do have a
three.
tattoo.
Okay. So it's kind of like that. Like I have a tattoo from Thomas Hooper, and it's stacked mandalas on my left arm, up through my shoulder, and a little bit up to the neck almost. And I told him I wanted his style, and I wanted them to be stacked like that. But I didn't go as far as to say like when he started putting them on, like, oh, make these lines all a little thicker and add a little circle on every one of these little pips, and then if you could make each one of those parts red, like because that would be annoying. You know what I mean? So like I gave him the idea, I gave him the specifics. I knew what it would look like based on what I asked because I know what his work is like, and I know if I say give me 4 or 5 mandalas all stacked on top covering this much of my arm, that's what I'm going to get. But I let him choose the contrast of the mandalas so that it was really his work. You know what I mean? And it came out amazing.
That's a great
Bro,
way to think about it, like a
that's
tattoo, because I did the
that's
same
actually
thing.
that actually
Like I had a couple drawings before I actually chose what I wanted to put on myself.
Yeah.
So do you do that as what would you present drawings of the glass piece that you would want to create for the person, say maybe three, and then he would choose, or do you just
Not really. I have a whiteboard and I do a lot of rough, quick sketches. And on the whiteboard, you know, if I'll say like, do you want it like this or do you want it like that? And we'll maybe they say everything's good, but in the hands I want it to be a little more like this, and I'll just kind of erase that part and redraw it and say like that. So I do that back and forth with most of my customers. Do really rough drawings on the whiteboard.
okay? I like that.
Yeah.
That way you can kind of have a visualization of what you're looking at, because in your own mind, that's your own imagination. So
Yep.
no matter what, you're going to be thinking totally different than the other human being. So it's nice to know what you're on the same page as of somewhat and what like that. Because if
It
I
does
were to
help
buy
a
a
lot.
piece and just say, "Hey, make this for me," you're probably only going to come up with what you want in your imagination and probably only come up with maybe one or two ideas. You're not really going to branch out and think of multiple ones. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know you that well to know what kind of artist
You
you are.
you never know. It's I've come up with some really good designs based on customers saying, "Oh, I'd really like it if the character had this, in his hand or
Nah, can
whatever."
I
So,
actually tell y'all something that's bullshit that
Yeah.
y'all reminded me of?
Yeah.
yeah.
What's up?
So I got a tattoo, and when I was designing my tattoo, right, I told the artist, I'm gonna give you a design, and I want you to give it a spin on it. I want you to do something with it, right? And he goes, yeah, I got you, no problem. Sent it to him. 2 weeks go by. My appointment comes up, and I at this point, like I said, I've waited, right? So I'm like expecting my phone's
Yeah, no worries.
glitching.
I've spent multiple days talking, sometimes weeks,
My phone.
paragraphs, drawings and edits and things like that, and had the customer just never actually buy the piece. So when you add up, spending an hour talking to this guy and 30 minutes talking to that guy and 2 hours talking to that guy, you draw all three of them some stuff and you edit all three of it and you go back and forth. That adds up to days of work that sometimes don't equate to any sales or any money.
No, I feel you, bro.
I didn't even think about that either.
That's
And
why,
when you have a
bro.
large
I
following,
don't like.
sometimes it's months worth of messages. It would take you months. Like you would have to take off of work for a week and just sit there and respond to messages. So it's
Bro. Can I tell
Yeah.
you something? That's what I do for this podcast.
yeah,
Oh,
it
jeez.
can build up. Mine is I've gone through it, but there was a time where I had 700-800 unread messages, and if somebody sends me a message and I'm with my kids and we're doing dinner, and then I at the end of the day I open the phone and look, their message could be 310 down, and I'm not going to see it. I'm not. And some people get it, and some people get really mad.
I understand 100%.
Speaking
Not as
of
much,
which,
not
And
as much anymore though.
on
it's
my
hard to answer
piece,
everybody back, and then
on my
they
piece,
ask another 10 more questions.
I asked,
Yeah.
I designed it to an extent, and like we came up with a couple sketches. Um, and it was his sketch, like it was his own sketch. But do you think I should just tell him like to have full creative flow over it?
Just give them an idea. If you say,
Because I
you
wanted,
know,
I told him I wanted a tornado recycler. I want the function viewable inside. Like I want that for the stream and everything, so they can see. Um, Samurai Sack. I don't know if you time stamped that time, but that was like like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah. Keep
Okay,
going.
just making sure my camera's all good now again.
Working on something.
Apologies. My camera froze because my fucking phone died. So yeah, this is my tattoo though. You seen it?
Yeah.
I don't see. Oh, right, because you're gonna edit it.
No, it's on camera.
I don't see nothing.
Oh, you don't see it? It's on camera.
No. Yeah, I see nothing. It just shows me four square. So I got to click something.
Oh yeah, it might have lagged out.
I
Do you
saw it.
see it? Do you see my camera now?
Now it shows like a Cookie Monster.
Oh, okay. Click on my camera. Well, click on my thing, and then you should see
Yeah,
like
I am. It doesn't. Let me see.
double like do the like. Are you on computer?
No, I'm on my phone.
Okay. Okay. So hold down on my thing, and then I'll
Okay.
pull up my profile, right? And then what you're gonna want to do is scroll down, and you should see
Okay.
camera, mic, and all that stuff. Just re-enable my
Oh, here we go.
camera.
Turn on their video. Yep. There
Yep.
we go.
It must have went out because of the internet.
Again, sorry about my throat. I'm pretty fucking sick right now. Me, the kids, the why everybody's sick right now.
And don't worry, bro. Like I said, I'm sick like all year round. I'm allergic to trees, grass, pollen, dust, mold, tobacco, moisture, any animal that shits. So I'm
Jeez.
sick year round. So isn't that
Sorry, I
sad,
can hear
bro?
you.
Yeah, we understand
When
you.
kid when I was a kid, everyone was running around. You know, I was in a room crying on fucking prescribed allergy meds that didn't do shit. And I'd just sit there, bro, crying. Cause like, dude, my eyes would swell shut. It was
Yeah,
horrible.
allergies are a bitch and a half. That's one
I
of the
like,
reasons
dude, I
I was
literally
happy
have
to
to
leave
put
Texas.
goggles on. Goggles.
Texas has bad allergies, man. Every year I would suffer from horrible allergies in Texas, but yeah, we moved out of there. I haven't had bad allergies since.
It's fucking horrible, man. What's it called? I I I do have to sadly admit it, but it's my dog.
Say what?
It's my dog.
Oh, your allergies are from your dog.
Yeah.
Here, I'm gonna take a dab, so I'm gonna mute it for like
Fuck
20
yeah.
seconds.
Wait, wait,
There you
wait,
go.
Blasters.
There you
wait,
go,
wait,
Deborah.
wait. I take fat dabs. I'll take a dab with you, bro. Okay? So
Okay.
wait,
I don't
please.
take crazy big dabs. I take normal sized dabs.
Yeah, Rude Boy, do you mind
That's
turning
what
your
we all
camera on
say,
and
okay?
showing
That's
your
what we all say.
Rude Boy showing your rig, bro? Do you know how to use the camera there on Discord?
No, I'm
I
not. I'm not gonna
yeah, he
do the
didn't want
camera.
to. He didn't
Oh,
want
okay,
to.
Yeah,
okay.
He didn't want to.
You're
yeah,
whatever you.
not like I told him in the future if we want to do a whole studio um
Tour, yeah.
tour type of vibe and maybe show off some rigs and that kind of thing. I did something like that with Dr. Dabber back in the day. We hopped on a video call and I took some
Very
dabs with
cool.
them and
Yeah.
we could do that, but not today. I'm sick and everything's shut
Oh,
down and
no
I have to
problem,
go
man. No
open
worries at
it.
all. Yeah.
100%.
I'm sitting
Whatever
here
you
with like one
prefer,
light on.
whatever you prefer, we're your guy. So we'll figure it out. So
Exactly.
But. So I'm gonna mute it. Well, let me ask, can you hear this?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let me go
Now
ahead
wait,
and mute it while
I gotta reheat up my rig. So I got a question, bro. Do you recommend getting a terp slurper? Like, would you say it's worth it?
I
Or
like them. I have one. I just got one because I've been making sets for it and I've been using it. And I do like it. I just got to dial it in a little bit better.
and do you think it'd be worth it to get a thermometer? Or should I just get one of those like silicone ones? Mine it broke.
I like the little readouts to tell you the temp. Yeah, I'll probably get one eventually. But like I said, I'm old school and lazy, so
I just get close to it with my finger. You feel?
I use the timer.
Oh, dude, you know what's funny, man? People are like, you just know the temperature by like holding your finger near it, and I'm like, yeah, I was taught to do that. Not like I didn't know the temperature, but like I know the temperature I take a dab at. You know what I mean? I know how hot it is. Like,
Yeah, I saw a
you
tutorial where they're like heat up the banger for like a minute and then wait a minute. And then it should be around like 500 if you do something like that.
That's what I do. So like right now, I just heated it up. I'm gonna wait a minute and 30 seconds, and then I'm gonna drop in the live and tap it.
Yup, yup.
Easy peasy. When I use the slurper, I gotta like I have it right next to me. It's like a full container filled with alcohol and
Yeah.
fucking like it's a whole hassle, man. And when I'm working, I just like hop off the torch, put the piece in the kiln, take a quick dab, drink of water, get back on the torch. So sometimes I don't feel like doing that. But when I have like people over for like a barbecue to watch like the fights or something like that, well, that's when I might bust out the banger or have multiple people bringing rigs over, so we'll have a lot of different setups going at once.
Sounds like a blast, brother.
Y'all
Yeah.
big? Y'all fans of the MMA world?
To be honest,
MMA, yeah.
I like more like the street boxing stuff. I forgot what it's called, but they have
Bare
like a
knuckle?
boxing. I don't know, but I know that they got this boxing thing where they just put up these
Yeah, like World Star,
like
dude.
these they put up fences, and then they just fucking do it like right there, bro.
Oh, that's
Like,
called that's Satan's backyard. That's street beef.
well, yeah, street beef,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
did.
it.
I competed and well, I started doing like karate and jujitsu and stuff like that when I was 5, and I competed most of my life until I was an adult, and then because I'm older, the generation that I would have been competing with, none of those dudes made any money. So I never took it all the way, but yeah, I've been a fan of MMA literally my whole life.
Fuck yeah. By the way, cheers.
I
Cheers.
get that.
I've,
Yeah, I was
I've,
dropped into boxing as a kid when I was like 6 years old. Man, it was a disaster. Like I don't recommend it, guys. Sorry, anyone listening. But yeah, so I mean that's been as far as I was 5 years old, that's been a big part of my life. I
you
hit the
still box?
bag. I hit the bag occasionally still, but I'm a huge Mike Tyson fan. I was telling Rick yesterday, you know.
I got the heavy bag sitting hanging up behind me in the. It's always behind me in on the bench.
Yeah, it's a blast, man. Healthiest thing you can do too.
Yeah, yeah. I used to compete in these tournaments called Vale Tudo tournaments, and it would be like I did pancrase too, but it would be like our gym and maybe another gym, and we'd all kind of meet, and it would end up be like nobody showed up that was supposed to show up. So like we would just agree to like I'll fight you and you'll fight him, and then we would get in the ring and compete. And it wasn't sanctioned, and it wasn't like anything like you see on TV today. But I did that for years, man. I loved it.
I feel you,
I
man.
absolutely loved it.
That sounds so fun. Like especially if you're I mean, you don't have any crazy health problems or anything. As long as you don't have like any weird health problems, I say go for it, man. If you're an adult and you know what choice you're making, go and have a fight, man. If that's what you're living
Man,
for,
I like hearing
then
this
go and chase
opinion.
it.
I told my ex when I was with her, I was like, man, I want to get a punching bag. She goes, why you want to get a punching bag? I said, well, I want to get a punching bag to release my anger once in a while, just fucking just release on
It
it,
works, man.
fucking beat it up,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it
know?
does.
And bro, she was like, oh my God, you sound abusive. Don't ever say that again. I was like, bitch, fuck you. Oh, bro, I was so pressed.
Oh my god. Yeah, dude. I suggest getting a speed bag and a heavy bag. I have both. I've had both since I
But
was
then she sees
a
the
baby.
break room and she's like, oh my God, I need that. Like, bitch, fuck you. That is actually
Break room?
domestic.
You say
Yeah, the
break room?
break room.
So
What do you mean? What's a break room?
yeah,
Oh, you haven't seen the break rooms?
Like a break room at like an office?
No.
that's what I was thinking too. I
yeah,
was
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
no,
What else could
no.
you mean?
They got these. There's videos on Snapchat I've been seeing, and they got these break rooms where you go in, bro, and they have like these metal tables, and then they have a bunch of like old TVs, like like a bunch of old shit, like mirrors, all sorts of shit. And you have glasses
Oh,
on,
you
gloves
break it.
on, and boots on. And they send you in there with fucking bats, bro, and you get to break the fuck out of everything in there.
Oh yeah,
Like,
way to make yourself look
BREAK, guys.
like all
Yeah.
your coworkers.
Yeah. I did that for a living when I did demolition when I was like 16, 17. I would go in with a sledgehammer and just tear down an entire interior of a building so they could scrap it out, frame it, and make like a new dentist office or
Yeah.
something. But yeah, me and 2 dudes would come in with masks and just smash the whole building.
I get you, man. Yeah,
That was fun.
and then
I
they
did some
come
of
in
that.
after, and they're like, man, this is a really good job.
Yeah.
I have heard of those rooms now that you said that though.
Yeah, I told y'all. Break rooms.
That was basically my childhood. That I would just do that all the time, to be honest.
Just break shit.
Yep. Get a knife, stab a box 100 times. You cut your hand. You get kind of tired of it after a while. You know. There you go.
Yeah,
That was my taste of it. Anyway.
it's good. It's good to putting that, like you were saying, putting the destructive nature into something constructive instead of destructive.
Yeah.
Like
I don't
hitting
know.
the
I was
bag or
more
competing.
instead of being destructive to things outside of me, I was more or less destructive to myself. Bro, I just
Yeah,
got like when I was young, I became creative, and I was like, man, I want to jump off a cliff. Huh, that
I,
sounds fun. And at like 14, I went cliff jumping.
With bungee ropes, yeah?
No,
Or
no, just
no?
cliff
you just
jumping.
jump right into the water.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
where did you
It
do
was
that
in
at,
the,
dude?
I'm
I did
not
the
gonna
same thing
disclose it
when I was
because it's
13.
an illegal spot.
I did it at a place called Devil's Peak in Austin, Texas.
Oh, nice, nice.
Back in the day, you have to climb the cliff back up and then jump back down.
That's
Yeah, I did that
fucking
in
rough.
upstate New York, Lake George.
That shit's fun. That shit's a lot of fun. I recommend anybody and everybody. Like I put both my kids in jiu-jitsu. I recommend to everybody to, like I'm not trying to compete. You know what I mean? I'm like a dad at this point, and it's a young man's game. You compete when you're 20. You don't
I don't
compete.
even think I can join it. I'm gonna be rude to you.
But I do Muay Thai now, and I just go to a gym and you just, hit the bag and
No,
spar.
like I could go to the gym, but I don't know if I could I don't know if I could do karate and all that. And why though? The reasoning why is because I'm in a wheelchair. So like I don't know,
Well,
like that's a lot of like leg stuff, you know?
yeah, that
Like
that might not, yeah, that might cause a small hindrance.
like
Yeah, no, man.
bro, dude, actually, you know what? I kind of want to do that now. Dude, to see what they'll say. Going to going to a karate place. Oh,
you
dude,
should
what Mai
show up.
Tai? Which one? Which one's more focused like around legs?
Taekwondo.
Taekwondo. I need to go into a Taekwondo like office and be like, yo, I
Taekwondo
wanna
is so
learn.
into legs that's all they do. I got my black belt
Bro,
in
I can be
Taekwondo when I
like,
was
dude, this
10.
is my entire life. This is just I knew this is what I want to do. Like, and I'm here to make it a dream. You want to be a part of that? He's gonna be like, fuck no, I'm sorry, bro. There's nothing I can do.
Yeah. Yeah, I put my kids in jiu-jitsu, man, and I always recommend stuff like that. You know. But yeah, you guys have any other questions about glass?
Yo, what do you do any work with Opal at all?
Yeah.
Crushed Opal, Opal in general. What do you do with that?
Yeah, man. I mean, I for a long time, way back in the day, because Grandpa Glass, who's the guy that all the glass blowers get their opals from, he's in a part of Texas right outside of Austin, and so I used to get my opals directly from him. Way back in the day before anybody else was doing it very often. So like
Hmm.
I would just cover pieces with encased opal chips back in the day. And I mean, I've been doing opals on pieces ever since. I don't make it like a huge part of my piece, but like on one of the Chesters I recently did, his decals on his shoes are some pretty big, like 8 or 10 millimeter opal coins.
Fuck
And
yeah.
then there's like opals that I'll put like as decals on the clothing or like the hat or maybe like as a wristwatch, where the face of the wristwatch around Chester's wrist is an opal.
Hmm.
So I definitely will do opals. It's just it's like more of an accent. But I've
Is
been doing them since the beginning.
is there any collabs you want to do?
Um, it's not as much at this point in my career collabs that I want to do. There's people out there I haven't collabed with that I would like to collab with.
Have you
But
collabed
there's a
with
lot of
Muller?
there's people that I've collabed with before that I that I like to collab with and looking forward to collabing with again. Just because sometimes you're able to make
Yeah.
some really amazing pieces with people.
Have
Like
you
you had
collabed
asked
with
me
Muller?
about, huh?
Have you collabed with Muller?
Yeah, we made a piece
Yeah.
together. It was
Really?
yeah, it was for my show in California, and I think it
That's
was I
awesome.
sent him some prep. He made a pendant and a piece. And it was like a voodoo doll that was like half his stuff and half where the rip part was kind of just the orange dotted stuff. Because we weren't in the same room, we had to do it over through mail. It wasn't as detailed of a collab as you would want to get if you were like
Mm.
back and forth. But yeah, we did a piece that was pretty cool. I really liked the pieces that I made with J Smart.
Jay Smart.
Yeah, yeah, I really like those. You had asked about some of my favorite pieces in the beginning, and one of them
You have to shoot me some
is this
pictures.
Chester Rick. It's basically Rick from Rick and Morty wearing a Chester outfit,
Oh
and
fuck
he's
yeah.
got the mask off, and it's sitting down next to him, and he's sitting there in a pile of Cheetos, kind of looking down like he's all fucked up and doesn't know what's going on, and his portal gun is in his hand, just kind of laying in between his legs, like like he's stuck there. He's fucked up on Cheetos. There's a lot of different looks that I was like, as I looked at it, I was like, it kind
That's
of looks
epic,
like
man.
this. It's a badass piece. And then we also made a
Nice.
Marvin the Martian collab. That thing was awesome. I'm going to be going up to visit him here soon, actually, because I'm moving to Washington, and he lives there now. And
Fuck
so
yeah.
when I'm up there here soon, I'm going to visit him while I'm just kind of looking around for places to move.
Where you gonna go? Seattle?
It'll be somewhere outside of Seattle, yeah.
Yeah, my father went there for 2 years on business. He liked it there. I mean, some areas aren't the best, but the views are nice.
Isn't Seattle big for that one football team?
The Seahawks? Yeah, the
Yeah.
Seahawks are
I don't know anything about the foosball. What's the devil sport? No, I'm just kidding.
Foosball.
Yeah, I don't know about but I like. I've been to a lot of places. I've lived in a lot of different countries and states, and Seattle is the most beautiful place I've ever been to, and so that's a large part of why. Just going around at the ocean and um, some of the different places as far as like the mountains, and it's crazy, man. Like the trees, it doesn't look like any other place that I've ever been.
Hmm.
So I love it. So yeah, I'm going to go up there. Plus the food. I come from big cities where I live in Colorado now. It's very small town life, and it's
Fuck
not
yeah.
something that I'm used to. I'm used to, I was born in Houston. Oh, there's my dog. Hold on, my dog is screaming. He wants to come in. I was born in
What kind
Houston.
of dog do you have?
He's a Dogo Argentina, like a 105-pound Dogo.
good.
Fuck
Oh
yeah.
wow, he's bigger than my dog. I have a Japanese Akita and he's 95 pounds.
Yeah, he's huge. He was 120, but he was a fat boy, so we had to put him on a diet. He looked like a walrus or something, dude. It was crazy. He was
He does the
so
waddle
fat.
when he walks.
Yeah, because come on, Dex. He's getting really old. He's getting really old, man. But he's huge. So yeah, I was born in Houston, raised in Dallas. Had my kids, got married in Austin, Texas. That's where I became a glass blower, and I'm just used to having all the culture, all the art, all the music, all the food, all the stuff that comes with bigger cities. And so yeah, we were kind of looking around at where we could go, and that's where we decided on. That's where we ended up.
You really enjoy the big city that much?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
You guys think that trade schools should have glass blowing classes? Because I don't think that, like BOCES, for instance, that's one of the big trade schools in our country. Do you think that they have glass blowing? Because I don't know if they do.
I don't. Yeah, they should. They should.
Yeah, I think it's something that should be implemented in trade schools. Because I don't think I've ever heard of that class ever being in a trade school.
Yeah, it's
And it's
more of a fine art type thing. It's going to be in like Corning or I know I always blank out. It's the one over there in Washington. Uh, not Corn. I can't remember right now, but there's a big one in Washington as well. Those are schools that have classes. They have interns. They have all kinds of courses, and from soft glass to bead making to glass blowing. But as far as it just being like in the mix with like welding and electrical, like no, I've never seen that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant because I went to trade school for welding, and they have, electrician, they have welding, they have vet, they have a couple other things, but I didn't see
Ventilation,
that.
HVAC, all that stuff.
Yeah, plumbing.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that. Ours in Texas is called Dale Jackson.
Okay, so it's pretty much the same. It must be a northern thing, BOCES.
Yeah, yeah. And the Dale Jackson School over there in North Dallas, that's where everybody gets certified to go do like you said, welding, electrical, all that. And yeah, they don't have any glass blowing classes. It would be
Which is
cool.
surprising. I'm surprised that they don't.
It's because we're considered degenerate art.
Mm.
Oh
A lot of
fuck,
them
dude!
don't
I can't
consider
believe
us
those motherfuckers.
That's so
when
strange
Yeah.
though, because there's beauty in it. That's strange.
when you talk to people that are in the fine glass art world, they're starting to come around. But when I first got in it, when I was 30 days on the torch, I met this dude named Robert Mickelson, and he was a famous glass blower, but he had never made a pipe. And in
Ooh.
that class, in my studio, I watched him, and he was like, "This will be my first pipe," and he pushed a bowl into this. There's a bee and a hand that he made for this class. And again, I was 30 days on the torch. I had no idea what I was doing. I just kind of sat back and watched and all. But he used to be famous for saying, "There's so much talent in this industry, but then they go and push a bowl into it and ruin it." And then he ended up coming around like the rest of the industry is. But for a long time, they just considered us degenerate art. They
That's
considered it
sad.
to
Yeah,
be not real art. You know what I
that's
mean?
disrespectful.
Oh
I know,
yeah,
I understand that, man. Cause like, dude, it's almost funny when you like even people who just buy glass from like smoke shops and they don't really like buy glass from glass blowers. It's so sad because they don't know pricing at all. Like like you talk about it with people and they hear pricing for an expensive piece and like, "Oh, you paid that for that? Oh
yeah.
my gosh, bro, that's just how the pricing works. Like,
You know,
you know what
they
I
don't
mean?
I don't get it. I used to be like that because, like, back in the day when I was like 12, I I used the stolen tax ID to go onto an internet website and order a bunch of pipes wholesale, and I sold them to all my friends. I was like the pipe guy,
Mm.
and I thought they were awesome. But I was like getting them wholesale for like a big moon lock with fume work. I was paying like $35 and shit, selling them for like 100 to my friends. But like they when I first saw stuff and I was like, someone's like, "Oh, I paid 700 for this." I was like, "You're crazy. I would never pay that." And then I got into glass blowing and I saw what it took to make it and what goes into the pieces. And then
Mm-hmm.
I realized I was like, "Oh, okay." It's kind of like saying, you see a bowl at Walmart and you're like, "That's $1.80." And then you see a bowl in a museum that's priceless and
Yeah.
you're like, "I don't get why anybody would ever value this bowl that's gold leaf plated at this museum, for $3,000 when you could just go get one at Walmart for $1.80." It's like, well, there's a difference. There's a big difference.
Exactly. It was made out of a special material that that is able to withstand the years. It was handcrafted by someone hundreds and hundreds of millions of years ago. It takes completely different steps than what we go through. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, there's
And that's
art,
how it is.
and then
That's exactly how it is. Like, bro, over in China, bro, I don't know exactly what it's called, but uh, Glasshole he specified on it a little bit. He said it's like this giant machine that they all stick their pieces up into, and then they let them hang, and that's how they make very like basic
That's
pieces.
how they
You know.
streamline it. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know nothing about that kind of stuff because I haven't actually checked out. I know they do that with tubing. I know that there's big places, big giant factories in
Or
one
do you think it's
specific
just machine made?
machine made. What do you mean?
Do you think
Like the
there's
piece?
yeah, the $30 pipes?
No, that's not machine made. They're making it on a lathe. So you could say it's being machine made the same way that like Illadelph is machine made, but no, it's handmade. It's just that they're doing it in bad conditions. They're not paying them. It's like slave labor. You have kids doing it. There's child labor involved. I've seen
Yeah,
videos of them making like vases and things like that.
yeah,
And so it just depends. There are some places where they just have little shops and they're just cranking stuff out and they can sell them for super cheap because of their economy. But a lot of that stuff is coming from essentially sweatshops, where they're on a bunch of lathes making a whole bunch of copy, cat pieces, knockoff pieces of what they see in the American shops.
yep. And then they
Uh,
hydro dip it.
yeah, and there's a bunch of if you know what you're looking for, when you look at these and you're like, wow, this is actually it's got a lip wrap and it's got double drains and it's a full blown recycler, and you're like, damn, this is like a lot. But then when you look at it, You're like, oh, these seals are bad. Oh, look at this. The down stem is tagged. Oh, there's like a crack here that was healed and it's still kind of cracked and it'll probably open up a little bit later. You know, when they're heating up a dab and they flash it, it's just gonna crack the shit. Like you see the bottom so thin, you might like shatter it if you pop it, you know, too hard down on the desk. Like there's a lot of things you notice when you start to look at them. But they, you know, they're getting better. They are getting better. It's not a machine doing it like that, though. It's definitely a group of people making it the same way we make it, just shittier for less.
So, if you don't mind me asking, right, with quartz also, we've been hearing that there's like toxic quartz to use,
I don't know. I don't know.
like
See, these are things
unhealthy quartz,
I
like
don't do a
cheap
lot of
quartz,
research into that.
like cheap quartz. And it like basically when you use it, it heats up, same like the dab, you know, and then you're inhaling quartz.
I mean, that's very possible. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like if we're talking borosilicate tubing, I can tell you the sizing, the brand, what it's made from, the coefficiency. Like I can tell you all that. But when it comes to quartz, like I have no idea. I don't know what brand they get the tubing from. I
Mhm.
don't know, you know, what it's made of. I don't even know the coefficiency. So I assume that quartz, because it has such a higher melting point, is gonna be a lot harder to heat up and off gas. You'd have to really fucking heat up quartz, no matter what kind of quartz it is, for it to off gas. And I imagine cheaper quartz would off gas at a lower temp. But 7, 8, 900 degrees, probably not.
And then another thing, right? So, what do you think's the best stuff to clean your piece with?
Oh, it resonates. And I wish they would just like, you know, reach out and sponsor me or something because I tell people that every single time.
No, serious, bro.
Yeah,
Like, do
resonate.
you
It's the best product, hands down. It's
do
what
you
I
think?
use.
I was told 99%.
Alcohol?
No rubbing alcohol.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of using rubbing alcohol.
Really?
Yeah. So a lot of the products like Resonate is made with acetone. And acetone is a water soluble organic compound that will eat away all the resin better than rubbing alcohol and wash away and rinse away better than rubbing alcohol.
So then what about like chronic orange? Is chronic orange bad?
I don't know. Never used it. It
So
could
Never
be
used it.
acetone based.
so
If it
you
is,
are
then I would
you're
use it.
using acetone, yeah.
Yeah, essentially all the ones that I like are, I'm guessing, based on the smell and how they work, that it's acetone. I've actually taken just acetone and cleaned a piece with it before, and it worked just as good. The thing about acetone is it will soak into your skin, and then you can smell it on your hands. So you have to be careful because you'll think you're smelling it in the piece. But like one good rinse and it's all out.
Yeah.
So I would wear plastic gloves anytime I would clean a piece, especially using like Resonate or just straight up acetone. But yeah, man, acetone is water soluble and organic. Like when a woman is pregnant, it actually concentrates so much it's like secretes from the skin where you can like measure it. So it's
Right.
not bad for you. Whereas rubbing alcohol is like extraordinarily bad for you to inhale.
Oh, I
Right,
know.
right.
And
So
I've
you think
inhaled it before on accident.
the health differences are significant or no?
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
have rubbing alcohol stuck in a chunk of resin stuck in your piece and you're like, fuck it, I can't get it out, and you start smoking out of it, I imagine, you know, you're going to get a little bit of fumes until after, because rubbing alcohol is going to evaporate pretty quick, so it's not going to be there long. But yeah, maybe that first hit, or when you're first trying to see if the alcohol's out and you take a
There
hit
is,
from
yeah.
it and you're like, oh, you know.
There is maybe a fraction of an amount that might come into contact. I get you.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I've used it too, but if you're asking me what I think the best is, then yeah, I like Resonate. You've got like salt in there, and you just put it in there, shake it up.
Yeah, I literally
Yeah,
just
you're gonna have
ordered
to
the
message.
99%, man.
Oh,
So that's coming
you
tomorrow
put
or something.
salt in there? You put Epsom salt in there?
I don't, but it's in the Resonate.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's what. Okay. Yeah, that's how chronic orange comes. It has like this weird salt mixture already in it.
It's probably almost the same exact thing, just with a different, like What I almost there was a small time period because I couldn't buy any Resonate. I started making my own, and I was like, man, I could just come out with my own. And I'd put some purple dye into it, and mine was purple. But then when I ran out of it, I just stopped fucking with it. But like, they probably put orange dye in the orange one, and there's some green and some blue ones from Resonate. So I imagine it's just acetone, salt, and food coloring.
It has a nice. They all have different smells though.
Yeah, there's probably some scent in there too,
Yeah, mine is scent. It smells
because
nice.
it's orange, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're probably putting a bunch of orange citrus
Bro, and then
stuff
I
in
had
there.
this other one and it was like pink. It was from Amazon. That was pretty good too. The only problem with that one is it had a lot of Epsom salt in it. Like it had a lot. Like at times you could pour it out, and if you poured it out wrong, you just get a block of Epsom salt
Yeah, I know what
falling
you
in your
mean.
piece.
Kind of clogs it.
Yep. Um, do you do you know C2 glass at all or no? Have you interacted with
C2?
them? Yeah, C2
No, I don't think
glass.
I've ever. No, I don't think I've ever.
Really?
I'm terrible with names, but I think I would remember that one.
It's this is his one of his pieces. Um, he has a he sells to a lot of like smoke shops, like especially Ignite. Uh, I actually texted him about one because the Ignite man they bought one of his cheaper bowls with a nice piece, and like I thought it was like a different like they swapped it, and so I just texted him to make like sure, because I wasn't gonna come after him for it, but what I was gonna do is if that wasn't the bowl that came with that purchase, technically I could take it up as a small claims, and yes, it would cost me more money like than I would get, but like I would get money, so I would then be able to go to them and be like, hey, I could take this up with small claims. I just want to get my ball. Can I get my ball? And then they'd give me my ball, and there'd be no problem. You know what I mean? But it was the bowl that came with it. They just
Yeah.
bought a cheap
When you
bowl
say there's a piece, I don't. Maybe it's just again my. Can you hold up? I don't see a piece.
on my camera.
Oh, to the right. There we go. I was
Yeah.
looking down at the thing at the ground. I was like, what is that?
I'm almost pushing my wax off. Gotta be a little
Gotcha.
careful there. Hold up. Here we
Gotcha.
go.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. That looks like a lathe piece as well. Does he work on a lathe?
I'm
I
not
bet you.
exactly
I
sure.
bet you. Yeah. I bet you $50 he works on a lathe. Just looking at that.
They're nice
I've thought
though,
about
and
getting
they're
a lathe,
cheaper.
man. It's just, well, you can make these bigger pieces without blowing your shoulders out trying to make something with that thick of a base. Because what is that? Let me see that again. That looks like a 75 or 60 millimeter tube. Yeah, to have that room inside for the perk and everything. It's like a 60, 70. So, like, that's almost impossible to hold with just your bare hand, much less trying to make the base and all that.
Nah, bro. I mean, I can.
You can use rollers. No, I don't mean when it's finished. I mean as a giant tube. You start off. Like once you start getting into bigger tubes, 75, 80, like those are huge fucking tubes, and it works better on a lathe. I've done it before, especially on big giant tube pulls. But dude, it's it's hard on the shoulders, man. It's hard on the arms.
Hmm. Which is understandable.
Yeah.
I was told by my buddy. He said you could knock someone out with that thick of a piece, and it wouldn't be the piece that's breaking.
Yeah, that's a thick piece, man. That's a thick piece. The way they make those blind seals on the bottom on the lathe, they gather up a lot of glass and paddle it out, and it becomes super thick. So yeah, I mean, as long as it was annealed, you could probably thunk somebody with it.
Someone breaks into this house, bro. They fucked with the wrong one. Fuck. I've actually talked about that on a heavy topic. Like, if someone broke in and realistically they're gonna steal shit, I mean, there's plenty of other expensive shit. Like I will knock the fuck out of someone with a piece.
Swing a
Try it.
pizza.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, you could throw a piece at somebody, and I imagine it would do a lot of damage.
Bro, I'd bash someone's head with a piece. I will not, bash someone, I mean, knock them over the head, knock them out, fucking call the police. Hey, I fucking knocked someone out. You feel me? Fuck.
That would be kind of funny. You'd have
What
to
do you
put
think
that
the
piece up
cops
on a
would
shelf
say?
like a trophy.
They just see a guy in a wheelchair standing with his fucking dab rig.
It depends. If you're in somewhere like Colorado, they'd probably applaud you. If you're in Texas, they'd probably shoot at you. I don't know. They have a lot of problems with weed in Texas, man. Like a lot. It's insane how they react. Certain places too. Like there's different parts, different counties where it's like that's a little more lenient here. But if you go to the wrong county, if they find a seed, they might lose your information when they lock you up.
hmm By the way, I don't know if you see this, but this is says Nevada.
You said Nevada.
Yeah, Nevada.
Nice. Yeah,
You
that's another
ever?
reason I left Texas, man. It's hard to do what I do and be in a state
Yeah, I
like
know.
Texas.
Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So being in a state that has legal cannabis was a big thing for me. If I'm going to be making stuff where people do that, I don't want to have to. Because we would have events at the studio and we have people there and we're making pieces and everybody's got all their pieces and then we're smoking. And in a state like where it's not
It's a
legal,
red state, isn't that the issue?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and I would have imagined from my perspective, I mean, there's so much business around cannabis now. Wouldn't that be like a red issue? Wouldn't that be a Republican issue, guys? But like,
You,
I know, I
you would
guess not.
assume the free market would, and I think it's slowly taking over. Where if you have you know so much money in an industry that it's just stupid for your state. But you have a lot of people, man, that are just against the idea and they'll take it to the grave. And a lot of them are older, you know what I mean, 70, 80,
Yeah,
where they're going
and
to
they
vote against
can
it.
take
Like,
it to the grave, as far as I'm concerned.
yeah, where I
Soon.
live, where I live, it's the same county between two cities, okay? The same county. It's legal in this county to have a dispensary.
Right.
But the city I'm in voted against it every single 2 years. So everybody in this city goes all the way over to the next city, which is in the same county, and they buy all their stuff, and all that tax money goes to this. So, like when you leave this city and go to the one right next door, all of a sudden the street sweepers look a lot nicer, and all the equipment looks a little bit newer. And I'm like, come on, guys, like, stop voting against it.
I know they're pressed.
Yeah, it's very frustrating.
You know what's fucked though, right? Back when there was no taxes, everything was still running. And then as they added taxes, everything was still running. And then they kept adding taxes, and then now everything's having issues when there's loads of taxes.
Depends what part. I'm a little bit of a history, but it depends what part of the time period you're talking about. If you
Now,
go back to when we had like, you
oh
know,
fuck.
when we had like all of our highways and infrastructure being built, when all the police stations and fire departments and schools and hospitals, when there was like this big effort to build all that stuff across the country,
Yeah.
we had a nominal tax rate that was at 90%. So we had way more taxes back then than we do now. It just depends what time, and then you can go farther back, and there's time periods where we had no taxes other than on certain things like land. But yeah.
Yeah, but what are our taxes going to now?
Well, I don't know. I'm not a politician. It depends on what state you live in and what you what you vote for.
I know,
Like
but
in
I don't know.
my
I just,
area,
I
they
don't
they
know.
constantly vote down certain things to like fund the schools. But in other
I know, and then
areas,
they're
they
like,
might.
yeah, let's fund the prison. Like, what the fuck?
Haha.
You feel me?
Right?
Yeah,
Like,
that's a Texas thing too. The private prison system stuff.
bro, yes, the private, bro, I hate that all over because they have that like almost everywhere. Bro, private prisons make so much money, and then yet they still get government money too. Like,
Yeah,
why?
it's crazy.
Why?
It's crazy.
Why? They
It's not
don't need
something
it,
I'm
bro.
for.
Dude,
It's crazy to me.
it makes millionaires. They're literally sitting back
Yeah.
and millionaires own these prisons. Millionaires.
Yeah, yeah. It's not good. It's nothing good comes from a profit system on locking up, our own
Exactly.
our own citizens. So I
Exactly.
wouldn't be for that. I don't know how that even came to be, but yeah, man, I don't know. It just depends. I think
It's fucked.
some stuff it's good, some stuff it's bad. It's like most things, you know what I mean? You got some of it that's like, that makes sense. I'd put that there, and then other stuff you're like, oh, this is terrible. Why would anybody vote to put that there? Like, I don't want my money to go there. So
I
it's a
know
give
it's
and take.
sad. It's like, did you ever hear about that guy? The conspiracy theory about the guy who created like the water engine or whatever?
No,
Or like the guy who created the cure for cancer?
Yeah.
no, I'm
So
not
there's
much of a conspiracy theorist
yeah,
myself.
there's conspiracy
Um,
theories about all these guys inventing like,
Well,
extraordinary
not
things
like
and then
crazy
getting
stuff,
assassinated.
but there's main guys.
Yeah.
There's these main guys that everyone talks about, and this is actually it's interested me for a long time because everybody like talks about it like it's fact. You talk to someone, you mention the story, they're like, yeah, of course that happened, and it's just the sad truth I feel like because what it comes down to is that people would rather have money and hold others back on like development, scientific development, health development, and all sorts of other things, just simply for greed.
wouldn't greed
It's
work the other way though? Like,
no, bro,
let's
because a
let
guy.
hold on.
Now
Let me give
listen,
you
hear
an
me out. A
example.
guy, a guy said, right when you think if you created a cure for cancer, realistically, a cure for cancer that you could just release it out to the public.
Would you live to tell
Bro,
the
big
tale?
pharma, big
Yeah.
pharma makes like $1 trillion
And so they figure that out and they
a
assassinate you.
year.
Right.
A year,
So think
bro.
of
They
it.
make
Think of
that
it
a
like
Right.
this.
year.
Even
They would
let's look at
never
it from
give
a
that up.
selfish standpoint, right? Even if somebody tried to hoard it for themselves, or big pharma assassinated them and took it, or some guy discovers it but he's going to keep it secret. Um, there's so much money to be had by offering a cure for cancer because it's one of the number one causes of death. That even if you're right, even if you're like they're greedy, and so the guy that invented it, he was going to give it away, so they just killed him and they took it. They would then bottle it up and fucking sell it as soon as humanly possible because of the amount of money they could make on that.
Well, not because they got rid of it because they didn't want it at all.
No,
Because bro, like I said, they make so much from simply treating cancer, but not curing it.
yeah,
If they're
I
making
don't know. I
more
mean, like,
money, bro, sure, like think about it, right? Like, oh, sure, bro, you can give someone the option of buying the complete package to have it forever, but you make more money off of a rental.
yeah, I
You know
see
what
what
I
you're
mean?
saying. It's very
Like,
conspiratorial. There's not evidence for it, but it's feasible. I just think that, like, let's say even if big pharma's like, and when you say big pharma, understand that that's not like a person. There's all these different pharmaceutical
corporation.
companies that are
No,
that are
100%.
competitors to each other, and they don't agree with each other, and
Yeah.
they have espionage and they steal from each other. And so, if you had a guy and you had company A that says our cancer chemo drug makes a lot of money, so we don't want this to come out. Their competitor company B would absolutely, try. I feel like it would be hard to keep something like that has such a big money potential a secret. It would just be difficult. I mean, like Bill Clinton got a blowjob in the Oval Office, which is not even a big deal, and you can't even make money on it. And only 3 people knew about it, and it still didn't get kept a secret. I feel like secrets in real life are hard to keep, especially when you're like, well, this is worth like $100 quadrillion, and so
Bro, but I
therefore,
heard that, like, bro, I don't know. I heard there's like pictures and blueprints for like the water engine. Like he had it.
yeah, maybe. Like I said, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. If someone has something and they send me the evidence for it, then I'll look at it. And if I'm convinced, then I'll believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I typically,
So what's
most
your
of the
take on
time,
aliens?
on aliens, it's like the one
Yeah.
irrational belief that I have.
I feel like everyone kind of just is like, of course there's aliens, bro. You fucking stupid. Like,
Yeah, I have no evidence for it. However, I think that the cosmos is big enough to support life,
well,
even
actually, can
intelligent
I
life.
can I throw you some evidence?
Sure.
So they estimated that there is 100 million different planets out there that are habitable, but that's
Yeah.
not including the most recent studies that they just found. What studies am I talking about? Well, you know the giant planets, right? The giant planets, like the planets weigh 10
Yes, bro.
times the size of Earth. Well,
Yep.
there's some that are habitable, but they didn't consider them habitable. They didn't look at them much, so that's not thrown into the equation. On top of
No, no,
that,
no. Yeah,
you
yeah.
have to
That's all true.
remember, right?
It's all
Like we
true.
found, there was a cave, Mobile Cave, that was in Romania, and it was literally full of what 36 or something like organisms that were like bugs, centipedes, scorpions, lizards type
Yeah.
of stuff, but they all breathed like uh, basically poisonous gas. It was like what maybe I think like not even 1% oxygen. It was less than 1% oxygen. It was like nothing. Like if you go into there, you die. Like and on top of
Yeah.
that, if you breathe in there, they die because of your carbon dioxide. They don't breathe that. They breathe poisonous gas.
And
It's
this is
recycled.
what I mean by no evidence, because that is a thing that we can analyze, but it doesn't, A plus B doesn't lead to C, right? Because there's something like
Well, no,
these
but
discoveries.
what it does say is the universe is so large and there's so high of a possibility that there's probably hundreds of different alien civilizations that maybe aren't necessarily extremely intelligent, but there's probably hundreds,
Yeah,
maybe
there
even
could be
thousands.
millions. There could be
Yeah,
millions. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, bro.
That's why
And
I
there's
say it's an irrational belief, because I believe it, but I know that. So like when I see a UFO, I think to myself, either that's some top secret military craft or it's a UFO. And my mind wants to go to alien spacecraft visiting Earth from another planet. But if
Mhm.
I admit, and I'm being honest, that from the jump I said it was an unidentified flying object, then I can't pretend to identify it right after that.
100%.
But I
Have you heard
believe that it's probably something like that. But
have
yeah,
you heard
that's why
of
I
the
say it's
Bob
an
Lazar
irrational.
story?
Oh, I know. Yeah, I've listened to Bob Lazar, his interviews, everything
Yeah,
that dude
bro.
does. I
Dude, did
still
you
don't know if
hear?
he's telling the truth or not. I still
So
can't
no,
tell.
Same.
actually, so where it gets really interesting is there was three things, and he said, you remember that device he mentioned where you put your hand on it, right? I forgot what
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
and what he.
that's real.
Yup,
No, I
that came
called
out.
that.
That
There's
came
no
out
doubt
like
about it.
30 years later, and the
Yeah,
government was like, "Yeah, we
100%
got
true.
that." They're
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, we developed this," and then on top of that, the government lied. What they lie about? Well, they lied and said that he never went to college and that he never worked at that nuclear testing facility when there was proof.
Yeah,
His
there's
number
proof.
was in the phone books.
Yeah, yeah, he has a listing in the Rolodex,
Exactly.
and he was in the newspaper. No, I'm
Exactly.
familiar with the story, and I've watched all the interviews, and that's why I say I can't tell if he's telling the truth or not yet, because it's a situation where
He owns,
it's
bro, but he owns $1 billion corporation now for nuclear testing shit. Like, if
yeah,
that don't say he knows what he
he's
was
a smart
talking about,
scientist.
like to begin with, like, bro, I don't know. I don't know. I don't feel like a guy like that would joke around, especially after building such a corporation. Like, he knows what he's doing. But at the same time, what I'm worried about, and this is what I've told a lot of people, is the government. I bet you they have killed people who have information that they almost set out. Guarantee it. And
Are you
so
familiar? Are you
why didn't they kill him? Right? Like if he had so much information that he was putting out like about the UFOs and all this shit and exposing the truth, why didn't they kill him?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I
It's a
feel like
very
they
interesting
wanted
story.
maybe they wanted some of the information to get out in like a everyone's gonna think he's crazy, but it's still putting it out there for people to hear, and then it can like kind of simmer and get people more comfortable with the idea. I've talked about sci-fi a lot actually. I think that sci-fi in itself is what they use to get us comfortable with the existence of something we just don't understand. Because
Maybe I
if you
push
look
back
in the
on what
recent
you say.
years, we've had so much more sci-fi about aliens, space, the planet, and like, the Earth dying and all sorts of shit. Like, bro, we've heard so much stuff. We've seen so many movies about that. Like, I just don't. I feel like you can't really just disregard it. You know what I
Well,
mean?
who's
Like,
they though? Anytime someone says they, I don't know what that means. Like
I'm talking.
who's the ominous they
Who knows? The Men in
that's
Black.
controlling the men?
Well, bro,
Rolling.
that's what I feel like a lot of people really think they know, but I don't think really much people really do know. I feel like there's just a lot of like like how do I put this? Um, just uh chicken chases or goose chase. It's like a goose
Wild
chase,
goose
wild
chase.
goose chase. Yeah, it's just a bunch of wild
Never
goose
knew.
chase, and they have it set up like that on purpose, I think. And so, I
Well,
don't
who's
think
they though?
I don't know. I don't know who they is. That's the thing, and that's the
People
tough
are
thing.
messed up and people
It's
are
I think it's
complicated
like
and
maybe
people
rich,
disagree and
maybe the
it's
rich of the rich, like the Rockefellers and the Roswells.
no, no. I don't buy into that at all.
You don't wait. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Do you actually hold up? I have a story. So the the Rockefellers, bro. One of their grandkids was like collecting like a bunch of different, like sacred items from a bunch of tribes, and he disrespected one, and they killed him. Well, no one knew, and like he went missing for like what 24 hours, and they sent the entire U.S. Navy out. They got the entire U.S. Navy to go off over the entire islands, and go over an entire island swipe to look
Mm,
to
yeah,
see.
I don't know. I don't know about
Like,
that.
bro, that's like if that doesn't show you how much money and control they have, I don't know what does.
Well, rich people, you can point to a rich family doing some, and I don't think that the entire
Yeah,
Navy
but
came
like,
out.
bro,
But
even
you can
with
look at a
with the
rich
amount
family
of
and
money,
go,
like, bro, even with the amount of money that Trump has, do you think Trump could get the entire U.S. Navy to
well, I
do
don't,
something if
and
he
I, with
wasn't the president? You know
all
what I mean?
respect, I don't think that the entire Navy came out. I think that's a conflated story
Nah, bro, look it
because
up. Look,
if
this was a
I have
this was a
military family,
documented
and
event.
my dad was in the Navy, and for the whole Navy, the Navy's positioned all across the world, and so it's just not feasible that every single naval ship all showed up to one place. It
Okay.
would take weeks for that to happen.
Maybe it wasn't every, but they described it as like tons. Like they had thousands, millions. Like, well, not I don't even know how many, but tons. They described
Not
it
that
as
many.
tons, bro. Like they
Um,
described it as how I said it. I
yeah, he's a
thought they
rich dude
described
with a
the
lot of
entire.
pull. That makes sense. I buy that. Yeah, I think something like that probably did happen. But
Well, no, bro.
again,
There's journalists.
yeah.
There's journalists. There was a journalist who went to the tribe and he found like the true story of like what happened, and like, dude, they were kind of scared that they told him that before he left because he had to spend like months with them, and like mind you, this was all like recorded. A lot of it, he recorded his journey with them,
Who?
but this one guy, I forgot his name. It was some journalist. You can look up the story though.
And you're
Like if
saying that
you
they killed the Rothschild guy?
no. So listen, right?
Oh,
So what happened was, right, the guy's boat broke down, and like him and his buddies, like they kept going around like up to the like they went up to the people, the tribe people, because they needed help. Well, that tribe they pissed off because like they were trading tobacco, alcohol, and candy to these tribes for their sacred items, and they felt disrespected as fuck. I don't blame them. You know what I mean? You have a sacred item that you hold as like your holy opus of your tribe, and some guy comes in thinking he can just trade it for some fucking, you know, tobacco and candy. Like, what the fuck? Who do you think you are? You know what I mean? Like, I'd be pissed off too. You know? I don't know. And then also, but so what happened was before the guy left, the journalist, they said to him, they said, if you ever tell anyone, they might kill us and kill you. And they told him that basically when they got to the boat, when he came up to their boat, because they were in their canoes fishing, they helped him up onto the boat, brought him up, pinned him down up onto the thing, put him up on his knees, and chopped his head off and stuff. Like, it was
well,
gruesome.
let me ask you. I do my little devil's advocate thing. How did you verify that that was true?
Well, bro, there's a book on this
Yeah, but how did you verify that was true? Like
Book
as
doesn't
far as
mean true.
the
Yeah.
statements that are in the book.
because multiple people have gone to this tribe like before. You know, like people.
Have you ever
This
tried to
tribe was
see, like, look it up to debunk it and maybe see if it was not true?
no.
Hmm. Well, that's what I would start with. And if you end up finding out that it is true, it's pretty fucking crazy.
There's like
Like
thousands
I
of
said, I
books
don't
on
know,
this,
man.
bro. There's thousands of books on this story because so many people were trying to find the story, and for like 40 years, no one could figure it out. And this, like I said, this dude had to spend time with that tribe. Like he had to
Yeah,
spend time with them,
but you
because
were talking
otherwise,
about the Rothschild dude, and he
no,
died because he was trying to get an artifact from the tribe or whatever, and that was like
it's the
to give
Rockefeller.
a response to the Rockefeller guy, yeah, a response to how they run the whole world. And I just don't see it's a crazy story, you know what I mean, if it's true and all that, but like I don't see how that proves that they run the whole world. So I'm a
Proves that they have
skeptic,
a
man.
lot
I'm
of.
always
I'm
skeptical
not. I
about
didn't
stuff.
say they run the whole world.
Oh,
Never
okay.
said that. I
Well, you
just think
said
that they.
you said they, and that's what I thought you were.
Yeah, I think that they are the they. You know, I think that they don't necessarily control the world, but they definitely have a lot of say in what goes on in the world, a lot more than we do, and a lot more than any other rich billionaire and trillionaire that we know of
Yeah,
publicly. You
yeah,
know, I think
maybe,
to that
maybe.
extent, but
It's one of
I
those things
wouldn't,
where I'm a skeptic. I
because
don't because
there's
I'm not looking into
manipulation,
it. I
bro. I mean,
don't
like
know.
there's
Some of
toxic
it's probably true. Some of
masculinity
it's
in
probably not.
films. You know,
Yeah, like I said, some
like
of it's probably true. Some of it's probably not. It's not something I put a lot of my time into it.
no
I'm
hundred
a skeptic
percent.
at nature, so when I hear stuff that sounds a little sus, I'm always like, yeah, I don't know, I don't know.
Yeah, it's good to be. It's healthy, man.
Yeah,
You know.
It
thank
is
you.
healthy.
By the way, on the
Respect.
stream, I have your Tornado Cheeto collab pulled up, man. That looks amazing, man. So
On your screen,
on the stream, yeah. So this is the collab with Lux Glass.
hold on, I'm not seeing it.
Oh right, I can show you in the call too. But I also have it all up on the stream.
Oh,
He'll
okay. I was
stream it
trying
here
to
in a
turn on the
sec.
camera to see it.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
you're good.
Yeah,
I think it's oh, here it is.
that way I can see what we're talking about.
Yeah.
All right, he just opened his stream up.
Is it working?
Yep.
Oh man,
I had a
I love
question though
that piece.
too. Yeah, I love it. And the tornado, yeah. So the collabs, do you make good money on the collabs, or how does it usually go? Because we were hearing from Glasshole that there's really no profit in the collabs. You have to settle on wholesale prices. He was
That's
saying.
yeah, that's partially true. So if you were making a piece, let's say I sold the piece for 2 grand, and then me and you did a collab, and we're going to sell it for 2,500 or even 3 grand, which is more than the normal piece, right? But if we then split that 50-50, then I'm now making 1,500 or 1,000 on a piece I might normally make 2,000 on. So yeah, you can sometimes make a little less money on a collab. But also, depending on the work and the piece you do, it can be less work. Or if it's truly a 50-50 collab and you're both doing, 50% of the work, then that is so it's pretty much worth it. But yeah, no, there's truth to that. You
I
you don't
get
make
you.
as much.
Right, right.
Yeah,
That's pretty raw.
it's part of it because you can't be like, and people do that sometimes. I've had people make a collab with me and be like, all right, what do you sell these for? And I'm like, well, this one would be like 3,000. They're like, cool, so let's sell it for six. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that. Like this piece isn't worth 6 grand. I don't want to sit on it for 6 months or a year. I'd rather somebody buy it, feel like it was a good deal, and enjoy it, and post videos of them smoking out of it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, sounds good.
So we'll up it a little bit, but it's usually not enough to where you would both make a bunch
Right,
more
right.
than if you just made the piece on your own.
Yeah, a lot of these collabs are amazing, but I see the pricing isn't. It's tough to work out the pricing. Yeah.
Have you
Yeah,
thought about making pendants that are also pipes?
I used to do pendant rigs. That when I did my collabs back in the day, way back in the day, with Joe P, it was during the pendant collab, or pendant, sorry, not the pendant rig craze. Everybody was doing like a pendant rig. So I did a pendant version of my disc rig, and it was super small, and it was a neck, like it. we could wear it as a necklace, but you could also take dabs out of it. But I've never done one as like a dry piece.
Right. Rick, you're crazy about the pendants and the. I mean, does he have any favorite pendants?
Who?
Using Rudeboyglass,
Oh yeah, for sure, dude. It's the one that everybody sees it up at the top.
the Cheeto hand. Yeah, I'm
Yep.
guessing. Or
Yeah,
no?
the red one.
You know, that's the one I've made the most. I used to do them like the one you were just looking at with the longer arm. See that right there?
This.
But then eventually I shortened it down to the elbow and then shortened it all the way down to the wrist. But pendants just used to be bigger back in the day.
Sizable, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was
Very nice.
was glass cheaper?
No, it was the style.
Oh.
Bongs were huge.
Okay, so
Rigs
this
were
is it.
huge.
This is showing it perfectly when you see the little one. So that's what you're working on now. The one
Yeah,
with no arm.
yeah,
Yeah.
The ones that are shorter and the bail is directly on the wrist. That's how I do them now.
So you make like 100 of those in a week or in a month or
No,
something?
no, not even close.
I don't
Okay.
know if you want to talk about that because then people might get a little pissy.
I'm one of the slowest glass blowers in the world, man. Because I work with cadmium colors and
Yeah.
because I melt dots on everything,
Hold
it
up, the
takes me
cadmium?
longer than most people.
Right. I get you. The cadmium is what? Is that a certain color?
Orange, yellow, red,
Right.
the Crayola colors that you don't see a lot of artists working with because they boil. They're very difficult to work with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it takes me longer to coil that up and sleeve it and to make like a raw tube. But then let's say I'm going to make a jammer or a mini tube. I'll make a beaker out of that orange. And then once the beaker is completely shaped, where most people would be done, I then add dots to it. And I have to melt all those dots down. I add all the dots at once. Then I melt them all down, which means I have to completely, melt the surface all the way. So I have to reshape the beaker again. So essentially, every piece I make, I have to make it twice.
Right.
I have to get the basic shape, add the dots, and then make that shape again, and then finish it.
Oh, that
So
one
it's
right there on the
solid.
screen, that's really fucking raw.
This one?
No. Oh my god, the one down, like, nope, next to it, to the right.
Yeah.
Oh, the
right
Earl
there.
Jr. collab.
That is fucking raw.
Yep, old school Earl Jr.
That's
We
raw.
made
The only thing
a.
I don't like about it is that it would be extremely hard to hit. You gotta hit it from, like, above.
You would hit it sideways, basically, from above.
And at that point, I'd hurt my hair. I'd burn my hair every dab.
Yeah, no, this piece, a friend of mine actually bought this piece back in the day. And smoked out of it a whole bunch.
It
But
looks
I think
like you
I
would.
also made some
Yeah.
pendant rigs with him too.
Bro, that's raw.
It looks
That
like it
is
would
clean.
hit smooth.
Yeah.
Do you know? Do you
Yeah.
hit your pieces often or no?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, especially if it's a new design. If it's a design I've made 100 times,
yeah.
I don't, test out the
Yeah.
2-hole diffie to see if it's still hitting like a 2-hole diffie. But I do make sure that they're, you rinse them out because there's kiln dust, and when I rinse them out, I usually pull on it real quick just to make sure I didn't like do something stupid like forget
Right.
to pop holes in the downstem.
Right. And actually, it's functional. Right.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
idea.
So,
Yeah.
question then, right?
Right.
Who haven't you done a collab with?
There's plenty of people out there. You know what I mean? I've never done a collab with like Banjo or
Oh.
God. There's a decent amount of people that are like big name people that I've either been around or just know their work that I haven't had a chance to collab with.
Make
But
sure, dude, you should be listing their names right now, dude, because if they see this ever, bro, I mean, I've been messaging them, bro, trying to get their attention. So,
yeah. No, I mean, in some cases, man, it's real hard to collab through the mail. And so you kind of want to be in the same room with someone when you collab. That's ideal.
yeah.
And so sometimes it's just it just doesn't work as good. Like there's things you're simply limited on when you're not able to
Bro,
be in the
that
same studio.
actually looks like a fucking mug with Cheetos in it right there.
I know.
There are, yeah.
Is that orange
Ah.
soda in there?
No, that's beer.
Beer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the coloring
Yeah.
really changes it. Yeah.
I got a question for you, bro. How durable would you say, like, is the cheap pipes that they have in the smoke shops versus like handmade, like real, like like the quality shit, you know?
The like I was saying before with the seals being bad, any piece that's multiple pieces melted together, if the seals are not welded together perfectly and there's a divot or a separation, if you drop that piece once, it's going to break.
Hmm.
But if it's a single piece of glass, like a tube that they put frit in, melted down to a spoon, popped a hole, pushed a bowl, called it done, it's just as durable as any other
Hmm.
piece because it's a single piece of glass. Unless, which does happen, if you see a frit spoon, a cheap one, if they don't melt the frit in all the way, it's going to crack real easy, and you can reach your finger into the mouthpiece and feel. And if there's like little bumps inside, definitely don't buy that.
I got a question, right? So when it comes to a recycler, right? Do you think that if I told Glasshole, right, make a piece just completely dissolved of my opinion, just a piece, right, for 2K, right? Do you think that he'd come up with a better recycler that looked better on the camera? Because I want one that has function, because of course a lot of people when they see pieces, they want to see a function, they want to see the tornado, they want to see it swirling down, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a big reason why I want one, because that's all I show on my camera, the piece.
I think if you were to, I think what you did was enough. You tell them, look, I want a recycler, a design you already make. I want it to be themed with this, the spray can, something you already do. And if there's a space glass collab that you passed up there, and then
Oh,
you tell
space
them like,
glass
look,
cut?
this is, yeah, it was a really cool one with the play. You just passed it again.
Should go up. Stop scrolling, Jamurai.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Where at?
Stop
Oh, here.
the plant.
The plant. That's raw. To the right,
Just,
To the
bro.
right.
just the
Down.
plant.
This
Right
guy.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
That's all
raw.
UV too.
That's like kind of like Glasshole, what he
That's a
does
lot of
with the
color.
mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge piece, man. That thing got stolen from a collector's house.
What?
What?
So
They broke in the house and stole it. Yeah.
What?
that's the last
Why
thing
the
you
dude
know
was
of
at
it?
jujitsu practice.
Yeah.
What?
Damn.
Bro, that pisses me off because I've been wanting a piece from Space Glass, bro. I like, dude, that was the first guy I fucking like really got in contact with. Bro, his pieces are immaculate.
He's a good
Oh my
sculptor, man.
god.
He's a really
He
good
is.
artist.
He is, bro. Like I'd say he's definitely up there when it comes to sculptors. I definitely like though how you tie in a lot more function though. You show functioning as well a lot more on it.
Well, like you said, that's what people want to see. They want to see the inside. They want to see the belly, like because if
Hmm.
it's like the one you're showing now, when you hit
Yeah.
it,
Very
the
cool.
belly turns opaque because it fills with smoke. So then it looks like a white belly. Then you clear it, and then boom, it's like blue again, and you can see inside of it. It just gives a cool effect.
It's very cool.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I think some of them change color, kind of, based on the
Yeah,
lighting. I love that
yeah.
effect, too.
Do you think I
But
could get a better design, like sculpting wise, if I just went with a recycler versus a tornado recycler?
I mean, it's up to their style. So I don't know what he makes recycler wise. Some
I
people,
know. I didn't. I asked him for a tornado recycler. We never. He like that's why like I'm asking you now. Should I ask him if what's his like popular like what does he mostly do for
No, I would
recyclers?
just look through his page. Yeah, that's a mini tube design that I might start making again.
I love the translucent sort of coloring. I like that.
You know,
Yeah.
that's Lucy sleeved over Purple Rain, I think.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, no, I would just look through his page and look at the recyclers. It's like you were saying before, it's not a great thing to be like make something that you don't make. So if you look at a recycler he's made and be like, I want this style, but like with a theme
No,
of
I
the
know.
print.
I just assumed when he told me, he was like, "Yeah, I've done tons of recyclers." I was like, "All right."
So I would just look through and then yeah, but just let the artists kind of you give them specifics like recycler, spray paint, can themed, and I want to be able to see the function in the tornado, and that's usually enough. Yeah, that's
That's kind of what I did. That's kind of what I told him. It's actually very similar to that one that he was showing earlier.
I think that's enough.
That
Yeah.
you had with the faces on the side. And then it had the one on the bottom. He's gonna put 3 spray cans, one inside, the piece on the tubing. Um, if you could go back up to that jammer, I don't know where that was, but it was
Yeah,
like the
where was
first
it?
piece you showed.
Two
It
heads,
was
you
like the
said?
first three. It had three. It
Three
was a
heads.
recycler.
Right.
It was like the first piece you showed us.
Oh, that. Well, no, wait. Was that the one that I made with Chase?
Mm.
I think the
The
one with
Lux Glass?
Lucy, maybe? The tornado in it, you like, Rick?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the Lux Glass one.
Yeah.
Well, I was just saying because that's like the same of kind of like what he was gonna do. It's a little different though, but like kind of the same in the sense of the shapes.
Let's see, maybe it's up here. It's kind of recent.
I think he's putting his a little bit higher though, which I kind of like because it allows more smoke to actually kind of show on it, but at the same time he's not going too high up to the point where it's gonna affect the function and make it hard to clean, make it so like shit's getting stuck up in there.
Well, I gotta get out of here in a minute, guys.
Oh,
If you
you're
want
good, man.
to if you want to scroll up and go to the regular page view,
Sure.
I was going to show you.
Yeah.
If you scroll down, I was going to show you like some of the things I was talking about. So that's the new Slurper set. Here, scroll down a little bit
This
more.
is, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, that's the new Slurper design that I've been doing. But if
Very
you
cool.
keep scrolling down, you'll see. I'm looking for some of the surreal, like there's that eye, that right there. Stop and go back up a little.
Yeah.
It's blue. It's like a turquoise color. Yeah, that. So like stuff like that. That's literally a
That
surrealist
was with
piece.
Muller. That was with Muller, wasn't it?
No, that's just a solo piece.
Oh, that looks like that's almost like a Muller piece almost.
Yeah, as you see, the glass is like ripped and busted through, and so he does a similar kind of ripped design on some of his stuff,
Yeah,
but it's a lot different. But no, that's just some of the different surrealist like stuff that I've done
I fuck with it
recently.
though. I seriously, I fuck with it, bro.
And I've got a few different ones that I've done like that where I love it. It's
Looks
something that I
solid
think is
too.
really cool. But yeah, it just takes time for people to transition over from one thing to another when they're not used to seeing it. I made a few others like that with the teeth. I did some eyeball ones. And then cups. I really like doing surreal stuff, and I really like making cups.
So the surrealist, just to define it, it's like Cthulhu sort of stuff? Or is it?
Surrealism is here. Click that orange one with the eye to
Yeah.
the right.
It's like otherworldly things, right?
Yeah, surrealism is essentially like it's because you have realism, which is like as real as you can make the painting,
Yeah.
and then surrealism is where you stretch the bounds of reality. So you might, everyone thinks of Salvador Dali, so a clock melting off the side of a table, something like that, which isn't really possible.
Right.
That's a good definition of surrealism.
Beautiful.
So yeah, and this one is like little horns here and there, an eyeball with a milli cane that I made. It's
That's
like little
fucking
rips
raw, bro.
with line work tubing that are on the inside of the rips that's coming out. So yeah, just fucking around doing other stuff than the
I
normal
fuck
stuff that
with
I
it.
do every day. Great, I appreciate it.
Dude, no, seriously, bro. And then dude, like I said, bro, y'all should bring back like maybe the mini rigs, bro.
But I did
Shit would be
actually
cool.
recently.
Oh,
It
you
wasn't
did?
too small. I don't make them too small. If you scroll up, there's a meta set that I made that's really small.
Yeah.
It's an all bright blue mini rig. Pretty recent,
This.
right
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Very pretty, man.
So
It is a
it's,
good
it's
color.
thank you.
You almost
Thank you.
dropped
I do
it there.
too. No, I just tossed it up.
Oh, okay.
It's something that fits in a little tiny case. It's like a good traveler piece, is what I call them. And you can just bust it out, take a few dabs, put it back up, pop it, the lid on, and go.
Oh, and the blue Cheeto, the color on that
Yep.
is amazing.
I love Meta.
I know. I like how that stuff looks, bro.
Thank
So,
you.
and
Your
it's the
Cheetos, bro.
same
Your
color,
Cheetos
but
really
you
look
just
the
made it
best.
brighter, right?
I put clear on it on both of them. I've mixed clear in, but the Cheeto, because it's solid and I've put more clear, the light bounces more and it looks almost like it glows.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you do you sandblast it to get the texturing?
No, that's polish, just regular flame, no sandblasting.
So then how do you make it look like it has Cheeto flakes on it?
So I'm sculpting it and I'm rolling it in frit.
Ah, okay, okay. That's fucking raw, bro. It
Thank you. So
really
I'm
looks.
melting the
It
frit in
looks.
and then I'm poking it to give it little texture.
Yeah, bro. It looks. It really looks like a Cheeto.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I've made a lot of those.
There's only two artists that actually can pull that off, and that's you and the guy who does the gummy worms.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yep.
His stuff's pretty good too when it comes to that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did have a
Good tech.
question, man. But you can leave soon if whenever we wrap up talking. You're good to go. Um, your your pieces in general. So how many do you post on Instagram? Do you post half or do you post like all of them?
I post like 90% of all the pieces I make.
Yeah, yeah. And so are most of them sold or are
Yeah.
some of them? All right, all right. So
Yeah, I
nothing
don't
on your
have.
page would be for sale, really?
No, virtually everything on the page is sold.
Right, right. Just to get that clear. All right,
Yeah.
interesting.
Well,
Yeah, there's
actually,
nothing
don't.
available.
There's the Cheeto bags.
Yeah, well, when they're available, I do have a couple of those left. But yeah, usually I make something and then it's either specifically for somebody, like what you're doing with Glass Hole, or I make it and it gets scooped up pretty quick.
Right.
Oh, that's
I don't,
clean. I fuck with that. That's
thanks.
clean. I have some buddies, bro. If you made that for a Puffco, man, and you made it into like a little nice like recycler, a very basic one, dude. Oh my God, they'd eat that shit up.
Yeah, people
You'd
love
have,
that one, man. Same thing with. Did you
bro.
see the other Dr. Dabber I did with the spaceship? And it's got Chester inside the spaceship, and he's
I
beaming
have.
up a bunch of
Oh,
Cheetos.
I did. We went right past it. We went right past it. Yeah,
Click
I
on that
did.
one.
Do you have
That
an
thing's
idea?
badass. I'm gonna make some more of those, and I'm gonna make some with a few different like characters in them.
Do you have an
It's
idea of
in
where
the
it is?
spaceship, right?
Is that one recent?
Yeah, it's
You might have been on
probably
your reels. The other
yeah, it's
thing.
in a reel. It's a reel.
Yeah.
So is that here? Yeah.
No, the reel. What you
So
were on.
you
What you
click
were
on the
on.
Oh,
filter
gotcha.
The
to
reel.
sort it. Yeah,
There.
and keep scrolling down.
This.
Right
Right
there.
Yeah. There you go.
Bro, that's
Yeah.
fucking raw. That's raw. That is raw,
Thank you.
bro.
Thank you. The
Damn,
perk's
dude.
hidden inside the ship, so you can't even see it perking, but the water's inside the ship.
That
Doesn't
is
splash down
clean.
on the Cheetos. So
That is clean, bro.
little thing I designed, and then I'm gonna make the other one I want to do is with like some little aliens in there, and then a cow getting beamed up.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Actually, wait. Be careful about Mothership. I know Mothership pumps out like that. He pumped out that exact rig. An alien with like a cow getting beamed up into like the UFO.
Really?
Yes, that exact
Yeah.
rig.
I mean, I'm still gonna make it. That's why I don't follow a bunch of other glass blowers because I don't want to see their work and be influenced to do something or not do something. If I come
Mhm.
up with a design and I make it, I'm gonna put it out there.
Right,
But
I've heard of
Didn't
that.
look. No disrespect. I mean, it didn't sell for much, nor did it. It took a long time to sell. Twisted had to put it on sale. He's a gallery owner. I don't know if
yeah,
you know Twisted, but yeah, he had to put it. He had
no,
to put it on sale to sell it. I felt bad, 'cause man, that fucking sucks.
yeah, no. I mean, Mothership's
Bites
a
a
company
bullet.
too. It's a whole different. They're like a business with employees that make the stuff.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Yeah. Versus like, I mean, they still have their main people. Like it's still run by really talented artists. But there's a difference between a team of people working on a lathe and someone who just makes something by hand
So like
by themselves.
Illadelph, right? Why,
Yeah,
right? Do you really think those pieces are worth like $10,000,
they're
$4,000?
innovative. I mean, it's kind of a relic now, so maybe not as much now as it was back then. But yeah, I remember them being like 3, 4, 5 grand back then. I thought they were awesome with the glycerin attachments and all that shit. It was innovative. It was different. I thought they were pretty awesome.
Well, nah,
Especially
bro.
since
But
they
I'm
had a
talking about
collab
the.
series.
Dude, they have like some straight pipes, bro, that they sell for like what? I don't know, like I think it was 1700. They're selling it for.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
The mothership in Philadelphia and those guys, they have a huge brand. It's like Gucci. You know what I mean? They get the bigger bucks for the brand recognition. But
I could never pay for that, man. My buddy, he tried to sell me on it. He was like, "Bro, they have the perfect point where the slide comes in, the perfect point." And I was like, "Bro, come on, man. Like, yes, it's a nice piece. I'm not gonna lie. Like, they do a good job on it, but they hydro dip it, and they don't like. It's not like millies. It's not wigwags or anything. Like, there's nothing." They don't do any like special designs on it. I just could never justify paying that much for that piece like that.
yeah.
Like I can't. I can't.
Well,
I
I
can
think this is
justify Darby's. Like I get it, but I can't justify Illadelph.
yeah.
At
Well,
least the
like
ones that I've
I
heard
think this
about.
is a good place to end it. I got my kids. I can hear
No
them. Like
problem, man.
they keep grabbing
Yeah,
shit. So I'm
hundred
gonna let
percent.
you
Have
go.
a
But
good one, bro.
I
Hope
I
you feel
appreciate
better,
the interview.
bro.
Thank
Maybe
you.
do a collab in the future as well. And if you know any people, bro, that like definitely you could shoot a message to or something, bro, that'd be lovely, bro. We definitely
Yeah,
would
Awesome.
love to
Yeah,
have some more
definitely.
people on the podcast.
yeah. It's been a
Definitely,
blast.
man.
It's been a blast,
Yeah,
brother.
it was
Take
nice.
care.
It was nice to meet you. It's nice to meet the other dude. And yeah, man, I appreciate the time. Y'all have a good one.
Fuck yeah.
You
Yeah,
too.
man. Take
Fuck
it easy.
yeah. Take
Later.
it easy.